Based on studies of Medicaid recipients at this current moment, no one who's on Medicaid, with the exception of undocumented immigrants, we can talk about that later, but no one who's currently on Medicaid, who gets Medicaid, qualifies for Medicaid, would be kicked off of the system under this policy.
Dude, she's lying right there. You see that? She just covered for this bill. That is absolutely, unequivocally not true. Dude, let's watch that again. Dude, the big lie.
Based on studies of Medicaid recipients at this current moment.
Based on studies of Medicaid? What study, Anna? Was this RFK Jr.'s treehouse study for mercury-laden heroin addicts? Or was this Cenk Uygur's Charlie Kirk joint study of beer drinking at right-wing shitfluencer conferences? What fucking study, Anna?
Based on studies of Medicaid recipients at this current moment, no one who's on Medicaid, with the exception of undocumented immigrants, we can talk about that later, but no one who's currently on Medicaid, who gets Medicaid, qualifies for Medicaid, would be kicked off of the system under this policy. However, I think it's really important. Like, look, sometimes we get into like conspiracies, right?
For sure.
And so I want you to think about what's actually happening behind the scenes, like what the motivating factors are of that particular focus on cutting Medicaid. Right now, that big, beautiful bill, think about what it does, right? It has major tax cuts, and they're hyper-focused on things like SNAP. Those are the food
stamps. I wanted to get to that one.
That, and also Medicaid. And honestly...
Yeah, they're hyper-focused on taking that money from the poor. Okay, that's what they're hyper-focused on. They're not taking it from the defense budget. They're not taking money from the wealthiest of the wealthy to then, right? They're giving the wealthiest of the wealthy huge amounts of money.
Speaking of hysteria, cuts to Medicaid and food stamps have freaked everybody out right now, but apparently this cuts both ways. Cheesy pun intended. Now, can you pull up that clip of Bessington Warren, please? Take a look.
You don't want to answer the question.
No, Senator, I am answering it.
No, you're not.
And what I want is for Medicaid to be used for mothers and children as it was meant, not for 1.4 million illegal aliens, not for able-bodied people.
See, now here's the thing is like, you ready? I'm going to show you right now with definitive proof that there are not 1.4 million undocumented people on Medicaid. You ready? You know why? Here. You ready? Drum roll, please, motherfuckers. Because if there were really 1.4 million undocumented people getting Medicaid, they wouldn't be sending ICE to parking lots at Home Depot. They could literally look up their name and address on the Medicaid rolls, roll in the trucks. 1.4 million people would be deported like overnight. So we know they're lying because there's nobody that is undocumented on Medicaid, or it would be an instant deport. They're lying to us. That would be the easiest 1.4 million deportations out there.
But right now, people are outraged. I can't remember how many hundreds of thousands of people are going to lose health care because of this. And no one really understands why they're losing health care, or at least the people that I end up in arguments with.
See, I'll tell you why they're losing health care. Okay, because there's not a bunch of young people that are not working that are just soaking up healthcare. But what there are is there's a bunch of young people that are disabled and their parents getting that Medicaid, but their full-time job is taking care of the kid. But the thing is what's going to happen whenever they do these work requirements or they change the paperwork required, it always ends up being a thing that is designed to reduce enrollment. It's not like they're guaranteeing work requirements. What they're doing is they're creating a system of work requirements and new paperwork that will automatically restrict enrollment. That's what they're after.
And I'm just trying to explain it beyond the fact of really understanding for myself whether it's considered good or bad.
But these are work requirements. It's a choice that they make.
I'm not suggesting you're wrong, but Doc, what becomes of this then, do you think? Who gets hurt by it?
All I know is I now start to present myself as a time traveler. I come from the past. I traveled into the future to deliver messages in the present. Whenever I give public lectures now, I'm always thinking that in my head because I have very strong opinions about addiction treatment and things based on decades of experience that have been sidelines. So I'm here from the past to tell you about how things should work. But that's, But I'm going to say some words that I did not expect to say in 1996.
Clinton was right.
I miss Bill Clinton. I really miss Bill Clinton.
I saw you react when I brought it up.
I really miss Bill Clinton because he had a massive reworking of the welfare system based on this principle.
Yeah.
That you just have to do. Work is good. It's important. People need it. And we've set up a system that denies the reality of the human experience, including incentives and what people need in order to be healthy and good and engage in the world and be a part of society. It's okay to ask people to do something to get their privileges.
It's not just work.
Dude, the thing, like, it's okay to ask people to do something to get their privileges. But, like, bro, the crazy shit about it is when you look at the idea, the concept of working, it's not about doing something to get your privileges, because most people work and we don't get any privileges. What do I get? I get to watch my boss drive away in a fucking BMW. I get to watch my boss show me pictures of him and his family on their boat, right? I get to watch Jeff Bezos fly to Italy and get married on a $500 million yacht. What privileges do we get? We don't get jack shit, okay? And the idea, they want you working so some greedy capitalist can keep his gravy train going. That's what it is. What we don't need is we don't need a guy high on ketamine like Elon Musk running around having AI called 𝗲𝗲𝗽𝗃 and then buying politicians and shit so he can get all his lawsuits taken away. We sure don't need any more of that. It's like, my God, and the health insurance industry is bullshit. You pay thousands of dollars every year, and if you don't get sick, you don't get that money back? And then when you do get sick after paying for 10 years, they don't pay for it? Like, what kind of system is that? That's fucking bullshit. Dude, tell me if I'm crazy here. Because what's wild about it is every time we have a discussion about universal health care, about Medicare for all, how is anybody defending the current health insurance system? Who is defending that system? I don't know a single person in my entire life that has ever been like happy with their health insurance. Like, nobody likes health insurance. Out of network, copay, deductibles, sorry, not paying it, not covered, elective. That was an elective procedure. It's like, oh, really? Having my fucking gallbladder removed was an elective procedure? I'm gonna fucking beat your ass now. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? I pay taxes. You pay taxes every year, okay? You pay taxes every year, and all your taxes do are buy a bunch of Tomahawk missiles and some riot gear for the police officers in your town that will use it to beat your ass when you're protesting because you're starving. That's it. That's where your money goes. Fucking clownery, boss.
There is this defamatory claim about Americans, low-income Americans who need these programs, where people think that they're like bums who don't want to work. There have been studies into this. The majority of them do work. Those and those who don't work.
Then wouldn't they not get cut? That's where I get confused.
Okay, I'll answer that question. I'll answer that question.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem with the work requirements. And in fact, the way that provision is written, it's not extreme.
Yeah, that's what it's really about. Okay? I mean, I disagree with the work requirements. I don't think you should have to work to get health care, period. I think everybody should just get health care. Even if you don't work, just health care is just a right. Okay? You know what I mean? Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Health care is life. Liberty is quit having the government tell me what I can do with my body and quit having the government tell me how to raise my kid, right? That's liberty. The pursuit of happiness is doing something about the wealth gap, and so all the rich kids don't get all the best shit out of the system. It's real simple. But life is healthcare, okay? You shouldn't have to work to get it. But the real issue here is not even the work requirements, guys. The work requirements are the carrot. The stick is the bureaucratic process of proving your work requirements. Okay, so what it is by them saying we're introducing work requirements, it's like voter ID. Okay, the concept of having an ID to vote isn't a bad concept. The problem is when they execute you needing an ID to vote, poor people then can't vote. If you don't have access to your birth certificate and can't get the right ID, you can't vote. So if you were born in a rural hospital that's now closed, you can't vote. If you're a black person in their 70s in the South that doesn't know where their birth certificate is, you can't vote. You see what I'm saying? Like the problem becomes the bureaucratic systems that monitor this new thing. So what happens is when they say there's a work requirement, the work requirement isn't the issue. The issue is the process with which you have to prove that you've done the work, because that process is designed to reduce enrollment. They make it so it's harder for you to prove you're working, right? Oh, I'm sorry, you're volunteering 20 hours a week. Well, we don't count the volunteering at that place. Therefore, now you've been bounced off, okay? They create a bureaucratic system that makes it hard to jump through those hurdles. That's what it is always about with the Republicans. It is always about that. It is always about the process you have to go through. The same way that they won't create a path to citizenship that's not filled with 150 hurdles, so most people can't do it. They try to install a system that it's very hard for you to prove the thing. And that's what creates the problem.
The counter argument is that there's asking people to file the proper paperwork is not too much of imposition, just like when you want to vote. Yeah,
the counter argument is Lindy, you're a fucking idiot. And like, yeah, you will pull up the ladder in front of other people. And the counter argument is this: there should be zero bureaucratic tape between you and healthcare. There should be zero paperwork and bureaucratic shit between you and voting. Okay? Voting, automatic registration, the minute you turn 18, does not expire until you die, period. There should never be any hurdles, right? No hurdles.
Not too big of imposition to, I don't know, present your passport. Exactly. Go to the DMV, find a way to prove that you are actually a citizen.
Find a way to come up with $130. And if you're black and born in a rural hospital that closed 40 years ago, they have no access to your birth certificate, find a way, right? Hire a private investigator or hire Rudy Giuliani to come and be your lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Find a way. Dude, it's like the poll tax or the test they used to have for voting, a voting test. Yeah, let's have a voting test, right? Where you have to pass a compassion test. If you're not compassionate enough, we take away your voting rights. Sorry, MAGA. You got to find a way to pass the compassion test.
I don't think it's like, it's the essence of what America used to be, like personal responsibility. Because right now we have a humongous welfare state and just simply unsustainable.
We do have
we have a humongous welfare state. It's called Jeff Bezos, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, the Walton family, Bob Iger, Donald Trump, all of the Congress, every Fortune 500 executive, all of their upper management, Mark Cuban, Taylor Swift. This is the welfare state, guys. I could go on and on and on. George Steinbrenner, the owner of every NFL team, the owner of every MLB team, the owner of every team that gets a stadium paid for by the taxpayers and the season ticket holders. Brett Favre, who takes SNAP money to build a gymnasium at his daughter's school. I mean, we could go on and on and on. You want to talk about the welfare state? It's not a fucking, disabled guy or a young person getting Medicaid. These motherfuckers, right? These motherfuckers. Like, you sons of bitches, you want to talk welfare state? PBD, all right? All these rich fuckers are on welfare.
Longest welfare state that overwhelmingly benefits pharmaceutical companies that Medicare is unable to negotiate
I'm consistent
with.
on that.
No, I know, but like if we're gonna have a
Yeah, but guess what? Guess who is going to have Medicare negotiate drug prices, you dumb bitches? Kamala Harris! Oh, let's go! What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.